Welcome back to Fort Worth, Texas, and we are getting ready to start this last and final home game of the regular season finale from yesterday night. We have back-to-back regular season champions since 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. A season ago, I think we should probably going to do it again.
Season affected by COVID, and it was.
And I know 5 years ago, when COVID had impacted, they have survived it.
Ended with an Elite Eight run when the tournament was held later that spring. But since then, this program has just had success after success, and trying to get back into a high seed in the NCAA tournament.
You have a look at the Horned Frogs all gathered round for their final regular season home contest. We talked about the fact that the tournament will be played here next week, starting on Monday.
And the fact is, this B12 women's soccer tournament will be played back here in Fort Worth, Texas. And luckily, we are hosting it.
They've had some injuries to deal with this season at times. Blake Hodgson, you see number 9,
You know?
a TCU transfer playing for the first time since October 10th. She's been banged up. They're also without their 2 center backs who lead them in minutes on the year, Amaris Boomba and Alex Whitcraft. They missed the last game against Baylor. They're out again tonight.
On the other side of things for TCU, they've kind of settled in on a starting lineup. Had some injuries earlier and also are shuffling some players around, but over the last few weeks, this is pretty much the lineup we've seen.
And Frogs have gotten a little bit healthier as far as players who are not done for the year. And Katana Norman's really settled into that left back spot and solidified that position. Morgan Brown has slid back to center back alongside Grace Coppinger, and those two have helped that presence in front of Olivia Geller on the back end for the Horned Frogs.
And after splitting time earlier, Geller has sort of taken over that goalkeeper's job. She was splitting time with Kira Ybarra earlier in the year, but it's been pretty much Geller in the net for the Horned Frogs over the last couple of weeks and heading on into postseason play. Well, we'll talk about it a lot over the course of the night, but the one thing that's easy to figure out when you look at all the different machinations of who can be in what seed and what not. If TCU wins, they are the regular season conference champions, and they will be the number 1 seed. For Houston, they've got to hope that they can pull out this game, and then they have to have a little help.
Yeah, it's a little more straightforward for the Horned Frogs than it is.
Not the music thing. Oh, God.
TCU with the opening.
Here we go. We're underway. This is our last and final home game of the regular season finale from yesterday night. Here we go. And the team we're rooting for our last and our final home game of the regular season finale will be is the TCU Horned Frogs. If we win this, well, before I say that, what's at stake? Clinch number 1 seed with the win. And this comes down to this. If we win this game, we'll be clinching our number 1 top seed in the
They've been really good defensively this year. They've only allowed
in the
goals all
the
season.
2025 B12 Women's Soccer Championship Tournament,
as well.
and we will be one of the teams who will make it there because we have the longest active win streaks during the regular season. I want to say, you know, in this game, well, yeah, this tournament will soon be back in this place. We're playing out of the lights from yesterday's last home game of the regular season finale, actually.
Away from Emma Ulensky, who is making the run down the left side.
Now, so in this season, so our team's goal might be make it to the national championship. But last year, I don't know. But I'd say, if you remember, the women's basketball have had the longest win streaks in their program history, and they have made it to Elite Eight, but they have fell short against NC State Wolfpack or something like that. But and that's how their season eventually came to an end. And I know who did. It used to be was Haley Van Lith
direct
who
tonight
used to
try
be
and
on the women's basketball team, I told Dan
get on the board
she
early.
declared for the WNBA
Great
draft
job
this
by
past
Patton to
spring
take
in
that one
April.
They're a team that's going to play
Before she got
fairly
drafted,
direct to begin with, trying to get the ball out ahead to Adelia
yeah,
Ganda
before she just
up
got
top
drafted,
of their formation.
she had
I would
finally
think
made
we'll
a
see them
feature
play
announcement that she
their
will be
regular game
declaring for the
for at least the first half. They don't concede a
WNBA
goal. It's
draft.
still 0-0 once we get into
So,
the second half.
when
Might
the
have to see
women's
some personal
basketball
numbers
season
forward, but,
starts next week, there
a lot of
will
it depends on
be
if
some
you
new
keep it
faces on the
scoreless
team. But the
or
other
if
faces
something
that
run
we
early.
have, one of them had eventually
TCU will play it
had
all the way
declared for the
back, try to
WNBA
reset
draft.
things.
We know it was Haley Greenlick. But this time,
Coppinger.
we have
She's been a
a
fixture
new
on the back
player
line
that
for the
transferred
Hornets
from Notre
her
Dame,
entire career. This will be her last
and her name was
regular season home game.
Olivia Miles.
Uniform.
That's
And
all.
bounds by Houston, so
And
they
we are now on the ESPN Plus from this
turnover by the Hornets.
yesterday's
Houston
last
trying to
home game
switch
of the
attack.
regular season
Somebody over there,
finale.
though, for the Cougars.
And reminder, the tournament will be taking place here at our home place
Coppinger taking up
in
the base.
Fort Worth, Texas.
Beautiful pass
The winner takes on, heads on.
for Fuller.
So now we have a
shot from distance, just
first
over the
round
crossbar.
on campus side, and the winner will go on to face against whatever team it is in the semifinals. And then the semifinals will determine of whoever wins
Becerra finding
will
a little
head on
space,
for the
she's not afraid to let it
championship
fly
game.
from outside the 18.
Yes, for the championship game. So the tournament is coming your way next Monday
Patton lost the ball at about
here at the Garvey
for the Cougars.
Rosenthal Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas, like here at our home place.
Houston
So if we played here again, we welcome the fans back.
start something out of
If we make it to the
field here.
championship, but who knows? And we gotta know
Down the left
how long will
side.
this tournament will last. You know, it probably from November something to November, whatever.
Throw-in coming
And
for
that's how it might look like.
The Cougars will play with really just one
So
true striker atop this
That's a
formation, and
stake.
Honda, number
now the
19.
rule is 8 teams make it to the postseason.
Formation has a little more fewer
And,
players
you
to it
know,
than what we've seen.
So
of instances.
if we win this
Call it
game,
4-3-3 more broadly, but players are split up
And
a little
we'll
bit
be-
more for head coach Ben Williams. It's more of a 4-3-2-1
we'll
kind
be
of set. Think if one of the midfielders came up to play alongside the forwards.
headed over the crossbar. Well, struck over the crossbar by Samira Minor, who leads the team in goals with 6.
And then behind them, you'd have a couple of holding mids plus the back line. Minor started on that back line against Baylor on Sunday due to the injuries they're dealing with on that back line, but has moved up to one of those midfield positions today to return Hodgson to the lineup.
Giving them a little bit more firepower. TCU moving the ball up. Coppinger laying it across. Norman. Norman playing that ball through. Becerra still on the ball. Gets it wide. Nifty move. 7 Castaigne was charging down the middle. Just couldn't get to the ball in time. Houston able to play it away from trouble. Foul goes against the Cougars. That one goes against Casey Maddox. Second foul she's committed in this match.
When we talk about what each team's trying to do on the attack for the Horned Frogs, when they possess the ball, it almost looks like they only have 3 defenders because Cam Patton gets so involved in the attack.
Great ball. Not enough room to get the shot off, and then from distance, just outside the 18 again, the strike from Becerra. Nifty little move here by Seven Castaigne.
A good pass from Castaigne, shot blocked by this Cougar back line, but falls to Becerra, who's shown not afraid to let it fly here early tonight.
Becerra now with 28 shots on the year. Got 3 goals and 3 assists to her credit so far this year. Not afraid to take her chances. The Texas A&M transfer, one of 4 brought in by the TCU coaching staff this year. She's contributed quite a bit once she's gotten in the lineup. Patton. Let's play it all the way back. Houston forced to do a little bit of chasing. That ball played all the way through down the left side, but TCU will not be able to get there in time.
Houston's forwards will press TCU's back line. Their defenders are also going to make these Horned Frog forwards work. The Horned Frog coaching staff telling us they've been really impressed with the way that Williams has gotten this team to work this year on the defensive end, and it shows in the results. Tied for the fewest goals allowed in the Big 12 this year.
Opportunity here for the Cougars. A foul committed by TCU right around the midfield line, as that was Gonda being held up by TCU.
It's been a physical start to the match for Gonda and Morgan Brown. There's been a couple of instances where they've gotten tangled up using their upper bodies to try to gain position on each other. So be interesting to keep an eye on that with Gonda pressuring the Horned Frog center backs.
Houston doing a nice job of connecting in the midfield here, trying to build something up. Takeaway by the Horned Frogs, though. Here comes TCU back the other way. And a foul committed.
We're in the B12 conference.
See the left arm get a little bit extended there on Becerra. Pleading the case, but to no avail.
Jocelyn Chinea, Georgia transfer. Free kick coming for the Horned Frogs here. Just off to the left, about 25 yards or so away. TC with 3 players gathered around the ball. We'll see who takes the touch, and it's lobbed in towards the 6. Not out. TCU unable to settle that one right around the 18, but they come away with it. Chipped back in, flicked towards the goal, and then forces Gonzalez to come off the line.
Morgan Brown has been the target on these set pieces for the Horned Frogs. Using that height, was the one that got that flick on towards the net on the opportunity that Gonzalez was able to scoop up. But Brown with a couple of goals for the Horned Frogs over the last 5 matches, including last time out against ASU.
TCU winning both matches in Arizona. Horned Frogs trying to break free. Walensky was trying to make a run down the middle, but Houston able to get there. 50-50 ball won by the Cougars. The team's trying to feel each other out here in the early part of this match. Couple players getting tangled up there as Katana Norman was in the mix. Fuller to Patton. Nicely played down the right side. Patton trying to work around the defender. Instead, leaves it off into the corner. TCU trying to get to that ball in time. Ulinski had it momentarily, lost it, so it'll be a throw in here for the Cougars. Blake Hodgson, who played for the Horned Frogs before transferring to Houston, one of two TCU transfers on the Cougars team. Today's college athletics landscape, it's not unusual to see players from other schools moving around quite freely these days. Looks like they're going to give TCU a corner kick. You can see Houston not happy at all with that call. They thought it was last touched by TCU.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
Ava Shannon lobbying, touched by the Horned Frogs as we take a look at it.
I think Ulinski lost it out of bounds.
It looked like it hit her back foot. Break for the Horned Frogs here on the set piece. This one's chipped towards the middle of the goal. Headed away, not out. TCU with another chance. That one pinballs through a traffic. Looks like the Horned Frogs going to win another corner out of it. And that was Ulinski, who had the strike. Seven Castaigne, who's the leading goal scorer for the Horned Frogs, usually around the front of the goal.
You can see that Morgan Brown has become target number one for the Horned Frogs on these corners. Houston has not done the best job marking her on these first two corners for the Horned Frogs. Player to keep an eye on here.
Becerra sends it in, and looked like it was Brown who might have got a head on it. Nope, check that. It was Fuller who got a piece of that ball.
The Horned Frogs have also been able to score goals off of set pieces, whether they be corner kicks or free kicks on second opportunities. TCU has done a really good job this season when the ball's pinballing around inside the 18. Oftentimes it's been Seven Castaigne there to clean it up. AJ Hennessy and Ulinski also in the mix on those opportunities.
Great ball played through the middle by Houston, just nobody there. TCU able to get back, and a nice slide tackle made by Kate Serenopoulos. And that was Houston's best opportunity, a nice run down the far side. Just nobody there as Miner was making the charge.
And Miner and Cameron Maddox were both in the area, just neither could get a foot on the ball. The Horned Frogs able to clear it.
Great cross by Houston. Casey Maddox placing that ball perfectly. Just a better job of coming off the line by Olivia Geller.
Serenopoulos trying to force her all the way down to that end line, and Geller able to come out and get it before a Cougar. But after that cross, you could see a lot of communication going on between Geller, the back line, trying to make sure those type of balls don't get through.
Best opportunity of the night for the Cougars. TCU trying to use their speed down the middle. Castaigne. Almost a golden opportunity for Seven Castaigne as that ball stays in. Be a throw-in for the Horned Frogs. Castaigne was right down the middle, made a great run. The pass was there. She just could not get enough room to get the shot off. And good job by the back line of Houston to close it down.
And I credit Jada Gibson for running step for step with Castaigne. Again, this Houston back line is going to make the Horned Frogs work. Castaigne's going to have a hard time breaking free. Giving up a couple of inches size-wise to Gibson as well. Gibson listed at 5'10".
Norman taking up the space. finally play it wide. TCU trying to cross the attack. Here come the Cougars back the other way. Golden opportunity here for Houston. That ball laid off. The shot from a long way out. Geller smothers it. That ball looked like it might have been a little bit wide. She didn't want to take a chance, though.
Great run all the way up the field by Shannon. Was able to hold it long enough to let her teammates catch up. And Geller able to get the stop on Minor, but Shannon making that happen despite a flurry of white jerseys closing in on her at the last moment.
TCU switching the attack. Norman brings it up that left side, now lays it off. Looking in the middle for Castaigne, who's working hard. Finally played off the ball. As Castaigne was called for the foul inside the 18. Got a little bit chippy in there as Castaigne was battling on the inside with Jada Gibson. TCU with the turnover. Hennessy.
Scores! We on strike first.
Finds the back of the net. The Horned Frogs are on the board first here. A great scoring opportunity by TCU, and the Frogs take advantage of it and get on the board first.
Well, Hennessy letting this one rip, bent it just inside that left post. There's no defenders in front of her as she let that one fly, and Gonzalez just not able to get over in time. One of the best keepers in the Big 12, but Hennessy placed it perfectly. Get the Frogs on the board first.
Fourth goal of the year for A.J. Hennessy. Morgan Brown with the assist for the Horned Frogs.
It's by A.J. Hennessy, jersey number 3.
That's the fifth assist of the year for Morgan Brown. And TCU strikes first here.
We talked earlier in the match about what the Cougars would have to do if they got down in this game. And that has presented itself, so we'll see how the Cougars respond. It's not really a situation like where early in the regular season you might continue to play your game for a little bit before you start throwing numbers forward. The Cougars need a result tonight to keep their season going.
Well, now TCU can play the style they love to play, which is just possess the ball. Another opportunity for the Frogs. Here's Castaigne. Actually, they gave the assist to Becerra and Saranopolis. You have to see in the replay, shot from tough angle. Gonzalez able to smother that ball, and TCU taking an advantage here.
Patton getting something on it, had Jelinski and Castaigne charging the net on that cross, but Gonzalez able to make the stop and not allow a rebound.
Fourth assist for Becerra this year, and the first assist for Saranopolis. So now Houston will have to work to try and equalize here. That goal coming in the 19th minute of the match, by the way. still plenty of time for Houston. It'll be interesting, Chris, to see when or if Houston tries to push numbers forward to get things moving in their direction. Here's Hennessy working her way through the middle, plays it out wide, but good job by the back line of Houston to step in the way of the pass.
Big time play by Hodgson there as Patton was all alone out wide for the Horned Frogs. A ton of green in front of her to work with if that one gotten through.
Played all the way back to Geller. Katana Norman had a late start to her year. Didn't play until the K-State game, but she's played and started every match since. And she's really done a nice job of kind of solidifying that back line for the Horned Frogs. In there with Grace Coppinger.
And Norman, player who was all West Coast Conference selection last season, so you know the talent is there. And Card comes out here against Houston, but Norman, the athleticism, the talent there to join this back line, as you see Fuller's jersey grabbed from behind by Cameron Maddox. And Norman started 6 straight games, and her return from injury came at a good time for the Horned Frogs, because at the time Evie Baker was battling an injury as well. She's back healthy now as well, but Norman seized the job for the Horned Frogs and has given TCU these 4 players who come together later in the season to be solid in front of Geller.
Maddox call for the yellow card. That's her second of the year, the 16th for Houston. No one played all the way down, but nice job by TCU of trying to get to that ball as Yolinski turned on the speed at the last second and almost got around the defender there. Let the ball trickle over the touchline. There's Norman. Throw in coming. Blake Hodgson. Battle in the midfield.
It's been really physical. Surprised no whistle there.
Here come the Cougars with an opportunity. That one deflected off TCU, so it'll be a throw-in. Making that run down the middle was Ava Shannon. Did a nice job. The junior from Texas. A lot of physicality here early on. The corner for the Cougars. It'll be their first of the match. Shannon will take the kick for the Cougars here. They play it short. Up top. That shot punched away by Geller. Beautiful shot taken by Houston. That ball was ticketed from the back of the net. It was only a great stop by Olivia Geller that kept it out.
What a shot by Cameron Maddox. I thought the defenders were going to close in on her before she could get this off, but she's able to somehow get the left foot into it and send it curling towards that post. Geller able to come up with the stop. Yeah, she had Sydney Becerra there too, but don't want to take any risks, and Geller coming up big for the Horned Frogs.
Geller now with 33 saves on the year, including 2 tonight. biggest test she's had to face so far this evening. Compadre played up the right side, and the feet taken out from underneath Cam Patton.
Houston showing through the first 25 minutes of this game that they will play a physical brand of soccer, and not in any way that I think is malicious, but they've been aggressive. Horned Frogs knew that coming in. And Cougars have proven that they'll be up to the task.
And first-year head coach Ben Williams is trying to change the culture and the way they play. He had some success before coming to the Cougars as the head coach of SFA the last couple of years. Before that, he was at UTSA, and last year TCU ended his SFA season in postseason here on this field.
And what he's been able to do just in year one has been really impressive. This is a team that last year in Big 12 play went 1-10. So 2, 3, and 5, a market improvement over that for the Cougars.
And again, utilizing a lot of the talent here in the state of Texas. No one played into space. Nobody there. It will be a throw-in for the Cougars.
And naturally, a guy from Liverpool has been an assistant at UTSA, the head job at SFA, and now the head coach at Houston. Few exports.
Eric Bell lobbying on the sideline. Substitutions coming into the match. Amanda Adams for Houston. Cameron Maddox, who's played a good game so far, will get a rest on the Houston bench. Houston forced to play it all the way back.
We're under 17 minutes remains in the first half.
Throwing for the Horned Frogs. Tommy Norman will take the throw in. Samara Minor getting a drink. Injury timeout.
Injury time. Ooh.
Gonzalez is on the turf. The FAU transfer from McAllen originally. So she might have hurt her knee. I didn't see any collision or anything down there.
Oh, wow.
Caused that, as you see the backup goalkeeper Maggie Manning getting set in case she has to come into the match. She's played in 8 games so far this year.
We did not see an injury.
But it's been Gonzalez who has held down that spot for the majority of the season. Right now they're trying to work on that right leg.
See, testing the range of motion for Gonzalez, and she's been solid in net this season for Houston. Leads the Big 12 in goals against average.
Let's see how it happened.
Figure out what happened here. Oh, it looks like she just
Couldn't tell how close Castaigne got.
Doesn't look like she was in there at all. It looks like something that was just caused by her taking a swipe at that ball. At first I thought it might be the, sometimes you get the plant leg and you twist, but it was the leg that she actually...
Yeah, that's probably a goalie for Houston Cougars.
She's up on her feet, and that's a good sign. See the goals against leaders entering tonight in the Big 12, and Alexa Gonzalez sits on top of the list.
She appears good to stay in the game as well. So, athletic trainer deeming that nothing major for Gonzalez.
Sigh of relief for Ben Williams as he gets to stay with his #1 keeper. I wonder if she had that wrap on her thigh. I wonder if potentially pulled muscle or something she tweaked. See the wrap there. Good news for the Cougars is she's able to stay in the match. Grace Vest checked into the game for Walensky a moment ago for the Horned Frogs. Kayla Martinez also into the match, replacing Sydney Becerra. Throw it for TCU. Frogs trying to go quickly as that ball once again was off Houston. Played out wide. Patton trying to get around the defender. Has some space to the top of the 6. Nicely played by the back line of Houston to sweep it away from trouble. But TCU keeps it in.
Really nice start to a counter for Houston there. That last touch, a little too far out in front, but able to clear it while also trying to get something started instead of just dumping it across the touchline.
No whistle. TCU player went to ground, but no whistle by the referee, so it says play on. Frogs trying to make some connections here in the attacking third. Hennessy. Nice job by Houston to get her off the ball. Not an easy feat. Hennessy's really good with the ball at her feet. Not an easy task to get her off the ball when she's got possession. A senior from California. She played an integral role for this Horned Frog team her entire career. Has the only goal so far tonight. There's a whistle and a foul.
A little bit of a push out of bounds, sent Fuller to ground.
We're under 14 minutes left remains in the first half.
Normally you'd say this could be the last, or would be the last time for some of these players like Hennessy to play on this field, but with the first couple of rounds of the conference tournament being played here, they'll have another opportunity. To play in front of the faithful here in Fort Worth.
Frogs also in position to host in the NCAA tournament.
That's true too. In fact, right now they're sitting about the 8th seed or something along those lines, so there'll be multiple rounds played here.
When the committee released its top 16 seeds a few weeks ago, Frogs were 5th overall. And not a whole lot has changed that would make you think the Frogs have dropped. They've stayed up high in the RPI at number 3, highest Big 12 team in the RPI.
I know Coach Bell and Ryan Hickenbotham talking about it. They think that this may be the opportunity for them to get a 1 or 2 seed, which would allow them to stay here until you got very deep into postseason play.
And a chance to host, potentially, if you host, you essentially host 3 rounds. The Frog could be here, winning, of course, but if you continue to win, the host schools are at home almost until Thanksgiving, which for the Horned Frogs would be big from a crowd perspective, a weather perspective. They've had to go on the road to Notre Dame, to Rutgers, to some places that by late November are getting pretty chilly.
Yeah, in fact, they played against Notre Dame a couple of years back in the snow and freezing rain.
Not that we can't have cold weather here in November, but the odds are certainly lower than they are further north.
And the other advantage that the coaching staff feels that they would have playing at home, obviously the home crowd, but besides that, this is the biggest field, one of the biggest fields in the NCAA. It's the largest field size you can have, 80 by 120, 80 yards wide, 120 yards long, and because the way TCU likes to play, they keep the grass cut very short, so it's fast. In order for them to make connections like they are right here in that midfield area, all of those things would play in their favor if they're able to garner one of those top seeds.
They also wet the field before the start of each half, so on a chilly November night, that could be a little frosty.
A lot of advantages, plus you get to sleep in your own bed. Anytime you can host, a little bit of an advantage for your club. And it would also be something that's never been accomplished here at TCU. So a lot of things, but a lot of soccer to be played between now and then. Right now, TCU wholly focusing on winning the conference championship here tonight. They have the 1-goal lead, looking to add to that is Cam Patton. Had the ball taken away from her. Nice play on the outside by Chene. Cam Patton.
We're under 10 minutes left remains in the first half. I know it's a 45-minute game.
Free kick coming. Morgan Donahue will take it. There's a foul called against Houston as Norman went to ground. Foul on Minor. We saw the substitutions there for TCU. Eric Bell continues to get some fresh legs into the match. Turnover in midfield and an opportunity here on the counter by Houston. Great job by Coppinger to step into the passing lane. And Morgan Brown coming away with it. Brown, midfielder by trade, so very comfortable having the ball at her feet and moving it up. Forced to play on the back line here due to injuries.
Nice job by Amanda Adams of the Cougars to get that opportunity started. Had a player running alongside, and Savannah Taffere, but good job by Coppinger to step in front of that pass to her.
Referee says play on as Norman got tied up, raised vest. Two-man game on the outside by TCU. Nice little give and go. Vest chips it towards the top of the 6, and Castaigne was making a run down the middle. Gonzalez went down to smother the ball, and she's staying down. We saw her down earlier, and she is not getting up right now. I don't know if that injury to her leg is really bothering her, or if it's something else, but she has remained down, and the trainer's going to come on out and check on her again.
All right. 7:48 remains
Right now.
in the first half.
This might have been a hand getting stepped on, and she's taking the glove off.
We gotta know how this happened. Right before it.
Look at Castaigne. Looked like Castaigne might have kicked her hand or stepped on her hand as she went by.
It's been a tough half so far for Gonzalez. Treated second time in the first 45 minutes for different injuries.
Trying to get feeling back in those fingers there. Teammate's going to come over and check on her. Joycelyn Janea coming over, have a word with her, and the trainer looks like she'll do a little tape job there on her hand.
Janea is going to get some attention as well.
Yeah, it's actually Janea who's asking for the tape.
Nothing to stop the match for, but she figured, hey, you're out here. I get a little help.
Good to see the smile on Lexi Gonzalez's face. Well, Janea earlier, she was like slinging her hand after a collision on the side, so she might have jammed that finger. Seems to be in a little bit of pain, but she's not going to come out of the match here. Too important for her Cougars to try and come away with a win tonight.
Especially on a back line that is already without his two center backs that we talked about earlier in the match. Again, they're without the two players who lead the team in minutes on the whole season. Still, even after missing that Baylor match. So, missing Boomba and Whitcraft.
There they are on the side. Yeah, so for Janea, she's going to stay in there as long as she possibly can. Here comes Houston back on the attack. Good job by the Cougars to work this ball up through traffic. Chip back towards the 18. Houston unable to win the 50-50 ball as TCU plays it away from trouble. Marley Galdamez into the match for TCU, doing a nice job of running the attacker off and playing that ball away from the top of the 18. Here comes some substitutions for both teams, mostly Houston, who's checking into the match though for the Horned Frogs here, Hannah Harms. And you see wholesale substitutions coming for Houston. Seven Castaigne will also check out as Harms comes into the match. Bentil in for Shannon for the Cougars. Galdamez playing that ball down the field. Coppinger plays it forward. Galdamez all the way down the left side. Bess trying to use her elite speed from distance. Not much on it, but Gonzalez almost lost the handle on that with player bearing right down on it.
Gonzalez, they were working on the hand. You have to wonder how much will that impact the ability to gather in shots in front. Was able to draw that one into her body, but had there been a Horned Frog attacker bearing down on her, it could have been a different story.
Yeah, Fuller was the nearest to Horned Frog, making that run down the middle, but Unable to get there in time. 5 minutes remaining in the half. Coppinger taking up the space. Arms. Play it all the way back. Vest doing a nice job. Leaving it off on the overlapping run. Plays it towards the top of the 6. Got all the way through. There were a couple of white jerseys there. TCU keeps it in. Wins the throw-in. Cam Patton hustling all the way across the field. And the flag was up. There might have been offsides on the Horned Frogs on the throw-in. As Harms got behind the last row of defenders for the Cougars. Coppinger way up. And the attacking third to play that ball. Fuller. Arms. Fuller again commits the foul.
Frogs have committed several fouls when they've been dispossessed of the ball, which shows that the Cougars have done a really good job tackling tonight. They've gotten that first touch, and it's been the TCU player who has been whistled for an infraction or initiating a little bit of extra contact after the play.
5th foul against TCU. Vest on the outside had 2 black shirts all around her. Plays it all the way back. Norman has to chase it. And she had pressure coming from the Cougars. Filippo Hochschild in the match for the Horned Frogs. Vest working. Chips it towards the center of the 6. Played away from trouble by Houston. And the Cougars will win the throw-in. It's a nice service into the box by Vest. Had a little space to work and then just flicked it into the top half for the 6th. Horned Frogs just unable to get there. Vest on the ball. There's a foul. Vest will be called for the foul as she got tangled up with one of the Cougars.
This has been the way a lot of the match has gone. The officials allowed some of the contact to go uncalled, but a little too much for his taste.
Savannah Taffere, who was fouled. Minute remaining in the half here.
We're under 2 minutes left in the first half.
TCU taking their time getting the ball back into play.
We're under a minute to go in the first half.
Battling. Arms eventually able to settle it. Morgan Brown will take up the space on the left side. Play it for Norman. Norman had to wait for it. Getting to that ball was Cam Fuller. Fuller again on the ball. Hochschild.
10 seconds left.
Remaining in the half. Houston trying to make one last run before the half. Played all all the way out into space. But the clock will run out before Houston can get to the ball, and that will end the first half here in Fort Worth.
That will do it for the first half. Now we're going into halftime.
A.J. Hennessy's goal in the 19th minute, the only goal of the first half for Horned Frogs. Will head to the locker room with a 1-0 lead here in Fort Worth. We're back with the halftime festivities right after this.
Now halftime is now. Let's get a halftime break. We'll see you on the second half very soon.